spit hot fire.
I'm God, bitch!
Look up in the sky, is that a goon or green goblin? None of the above, it's a motherfucking dragon. Super Saiyan 2 to a cell, no problem. You put me in a cells and you got
Bow down, nigga, I'm God, nigga.
What's going on, world? This is your boy Troy, and I'm your friendly neighborhood NGTOW, and I am 100% unapologetically, absolutely, positively your friend. Today, we're gonna talk a little bit about something I like to call the Twoness. The Twoness. So what is that? I was watching. I think it was on the Wisecrack channel. They have a, they do philosophical breakdowns of pop culture, and one of the things that they talked about was they did an excellent piece on Get Out, the movie with Jordan Peele. So I figured this would actually be a pretty good time for me to kind of give my movie review, and just kind of talk about it, the things that I've seen. If you want the real hardcore philosophical breakdown, go to Wisecrack. I mean, look, they got the whole look. They even have like that dramatic white voice to talk about all the good things, and makes you feel good and soothing and smooth and. I'm just here talking my shit. But yeah, one of the things that they talked about and that I noticed in Get Out, and trust me, all of this is gonna have a MGTOW bent. So whether you're white, black, whatever, it's all gonna come together. I got you, right? But it's crazy because one of the things that kind of is common, one of the things that we see is relationships between our the different races of people, and particularly black and white. And it's one of those things that this movie kind of goes a long way to show, is that in a way, these liberals, they're just as racist as they claim everybody else is. And I've been a part of these very awkward conversations, where they say, well, why do black people do this? Or, and they try to use these euphemisms and shit that I don't even use or whatever. But, and they're like, my man, tell me about da-da-da. I'm like, why are you using that? Why? You know what I'm saying? It's like they go out, like when white people go out of their way to like show that they're not racist, and like that's the thing that kind of proves that they do have a racist slant towards things, But yeah, it's almost like, and I think they use the form collecting, right? It's almost like, liberal white people, they collect. I mean, when we talk about, appropriation or whatever, I mean, I don't give a shit if you put on a headdress, a Indian headdress, or do what, like, you do what you want to do. But this idea, I like the idea that they talked about, this idea of collecting, where you're collecting races, you're collecting people, and kind of like the interesting thing that they kind of put there. But you still in a weird way objectify somebody, where you either say, there's like kind of like two different types of racism, where you either, and obviously I'll just use black people as the de facto. I think that's kind of the standard, right? That's what we all do. So we have on one side the overt racist that sees black people as like big-eyed fucking beasts, and then you have this side over here, and they see black people as almost like, I don't want to say like these, godlike beings. I don't know. It's hard, but it's like, it's almost like, you guys are so cool. You have all the rhythm, and you guys like, you have like, you guys rap. And you guys have all the speed, and you guys are best at all the cool sports and things of that nature. And it's like, it's either like you're deified or you're vilified, and it really is. It's fucking weird. But another interesting thing that they brought up And maybe I'll do another more formal review of Get Out some other day. But one thing that they did bring up that I thought was interesting, and it's something that I never really picked up on, but it's something that really strikes me, and here's where I think this is applicable to you, but this idea of Twoness. Now, if you look at an old Negro scholar, W.E.B. Du Bois, I'm not going to give you history about him, but, smart black guy, a smart old dead black guy, wrote a lot of books about race, things of that nature. It's pretty much what you need to know about it right now. He wrote a book kind of dissecting the race relations, particularly between blacks and whites of his time. This is around 1908 or something like that. It's pretty much over 100 years ago, something like that. And one of the things that he talked about was like the dual mind, where pretty much you have it's almost like you're two different people in one. You have to be two different people in one body. Where on one hand, you are like you're like the socially acceptable person, and then on the other hand is like the quote unquote real you, right? So we see this in Get Out, right? Where Chris, I think that's the black guy's name. I'm bad with names. I'm working on it. All right, but I think Chris, black guy, it sounds weird to call black guy, but black guy, he just wants to be a photographer. He just wants to take pictures. Like, that's who he is. That's what he wants to do. He's not like, oh, I'm going to be a black man and I'm going to take these pictures. He's just like, no, I see beautiful things. I want to capture, capture them, capsulize them. Wow, I fucked that up. But, I just want to, commemorate them. And so, but at the same time, he's in this place where at every corner, they're always kind of reminding him of his blackness. They're always kind of asking him these questions. So, he kind of, in his dual mind, right, there's another part of him that kind of has to like kick on, and he's like, okay, like, let me be nice, let me just, even though I can't really come out and say that this shit is, racist. I can't really come out and say this shit is, bullshit, right? But it is what it is, and it's weird because that's what we see with and look, obviously I am splitting here. I am absolutely 100% there's a big word for it, but I'm splitting here. A polarizing, right? We have on one side, which is, prototypically the right, or, conservatives or whatever. These are like the hard racist, and the left is like the soft racist. And the soft racists, it's like they're so nice that you can't really, you see this with women a lot too, right? It's like almost like a polite society thing, right? Where it's almost like they're so nice and so naive about things that you can't really call them out. And if you do, then you kind of look weird, because it's almost like telling a child that like Santa Claus doesn't exist in a weird way. It's hard to really explain, but going back to the dual mind, what you see is a person that he wants to, just be him, and then he also has to like do this thing to be with these people that he's around. And W.E.B. Du Bois calls that the Twoness. And I think on the commentary, Jordan Peele was talking about it. I don't know if you've seen Get Out, but spoilers, right? But the sunken place, where he pretty much sees life. He's him, but he sees life through a screen, and it's like something else is controlling, his body, like, and his mind and everything like that. And all he can really do is be the real him, but be a passive observer as far as the things that he, as far as his life. And like I say, just coming from like a racial standpoint, I could see that. I've lived that. But now, even then, as far as how it relates to MGTOW, as far as it relates to men, particularly if you're walking this path and you have, and you've experienced the red pill. You've walked this path and you've you're starting to understand a thing or two about female nature. You're kind of in a place where you see these things all around you. You see the divorces happening, you see the breakups happening, you see people you see women manipulating men, you see men being manipulated, you see strings being pulled, you see all this other stuff, but you can't say anything, right? You almost have to pretend to be a different person, particularly when you're around old people and you kind of get around like trad cons or traditional conservatives or whatever, and sometimes they talk about how great and wonderful marriage is in their life and their relationship to God and all these other good things, and you're just kind of sitting there like, yeah, like you on your face, yeah. Cool. Oh, me and my wife, we have such a great and wonderful marriage. This and that, and you're just like, okay, yeah, cool, And you have all these thoughts, you have all these things going on now. Like I say, in some regard, some way, shape, or form, I think most people kind of experience the Twoness. But now, if you are in the red pill, then, and look, this isn't one of those things where I want to come across as being overly liberal and I'm like, now you see what we're going through. But in a way, if you are, and this is particular for those, if you are a white person, a white male, and you have taken the red pill and you're looking around and you're like, fuck, this is all fucking bullshit. Like, in a weird way, that's what black people have been experiencing for the eternity that this modern age has been around. That makes no sense, but yeah, like you're in a sense living, right? And look, I'm not saying this as a way of like, now you're getting yours. Right, because I mean, at the same time, like, if you're watching this, you're around my age, you had nothing to do with anything. We all just kind of came up into this world and we're like, oh, okay, well, fuck it, we're here now, all right? But this is the thing that you're experiencing, the thing that now everybody else experienced. And when they talk about white privilege, right? And now we're kind of going off the rails here, but when we talk about when I say something like white privilege, I don't necessarily mean because you're white, you go into the job and you get, I mean, that might be applicable, that might not. I don't give a shit about those types of things, but in essence, this is kind of what they're talking about, where now, as a white male, you're in the place where just for being you, right? You haven't done anything wrong. You haven't oppressed anybody. You just came up, born, you're here, and now you walk down the street and you have you just want to go to college, you just want to do your thing, and you have the whole world pretty much saying you're a devil, you're a racist, you're an asshole, you're this and that, da-da-da. Now, I know that you're just a fucking person. But yeah, like that's part of the thing. So when they say privilege, like it's weird because you don't have the privilege that maybe your great grandfather did or your father did, like that, like to where they didn't have to really think about those things, right? And now you are now because of things that transpired, you are now in that spot. So now you are going to be the person who has to deal with the Twoness. And if nothing else, like I say, there's shit tons of resources, there's shit tons of books that you can read. I mean, in a weird way, if you want to know more, maybe you should be reading a little bit more about W.E.B. Du Bois. Maybe there's some things that you can see going into a lot of Black history that you can really come out and kind of incorporate into what you're going through, because what you're going through, a lot of the rage that you're experiencing, a lot of those things, I mean, as far as black people is concerned, this is the shit we've been dealing with for centuries, if not decades here, and our struggle has been well documented. So, you know, if nothing else, you know, people have already gone through it. It's been there, and there's plenty of resources, plenty of things to help you along your journey. But on the whole, I do the thing that I do, where I start off somewhere and then I end up talking about everything else. But, you know, on the whole, I'd like to know what you think about it, about a lot of these topics. Going ahead and you know, like, share, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, head on over to the Troy Mason Exchange, or you can get the Enlightenment Manual, which I recommend. It's the 100% best self-discovery system in the entire world. And with that, I'm your boy Troy. I'm your friend. I'll see you on the other side. One more thing I wanted to add. One more thing that I wanted to mention before we wrap up. I mean, if nothing else, what you're seeing before you now is somebody who is reconciling his Twoness. You know, I'm coming into the place what you see now with the YouTube and the blog or the videos and everything that you see. This is my attempt at, you know, reconciling my own issues, my own things. And I'm getting a little bit personal, but, you know, even when there was a time when, you know, I was kind of questioning religion, questioning church, questioning those things, but I was also heavily involved in church. You know, that Twoness would happen. I mean, the same thing with a lot of, you know, when I was going through, a phase where I was really heavy into, you know, African stuff and, you know, Black history, culture, and then, you know, ancient Egypt and all kinds of things. Same thing happened when I was just being in college and wondering, you know, pretty much what the deal is, and not really being able to question things. And now, you know, MGTOW knowledge has, you know, come into my life, you know, and it's one of those things that, you know, it's like I came to a decision where it's like, okay, I can either play this game or I can be me, you know, and this is me, you know. So, you know, for what it's worth, there's plenty of people out there that are in the process now of reconciling their Twoness. And if you're that type of person, and look, like I say, some people, they're good at playing the game. Some people, they're kind of built to play the game. And, you know, it is what it is. If that's you, then, you know, great. Just, you know, continue to do what you do. But if you want more, if you want to experience more, if you want to be you and not have to worry about, well, can I say this, can I not say this, can I be this way, can I not do that, then, you know, the examples are out there, and hopefully I can be a good you know, a good place for you to, you know, good place for you to draw some inspiration or whatever from. But, you know, like I said, with that, that's the one little addition I want to put in. So, you know, thank you.
The dick was good. But it's the only problem, though. She said the dick was so good that as she started rocking, she just got into it, and all of a sudden, she said something just hit her, bam, all upside his head, just slapped him. Dick will make you slap somebody. So y'all need to remember that. That's what I'm trying to deal with. The fact.
More like constipated, cause you know I do not take shit. Maybe I may give shit. Give this misfit. Like a small condom on this dick. Words are like bullets and my bullets go ballistic. Beat hit hard, Ray Lewis, hold a hit stick.